The Battle of Culloden, the final Jacobite rising in 1745 Scotland. Presentation overview. Jacobite uprising. The Jacobite uprising was the context for the Battle of Culloden. It was a political movement in Great Britain and Ireland that aimed to restore the House of Stuart to the British throne. Build up to the battle. The build up to the Battle of Culloden involved the march south and the siege of Carlisle. The march south was a military campaign by the Jacobites, and the siege of Carlisle was a significant battle in the campaign. Battle of Culloden. The Battle of Culloden was a significant battle in the Jacobite uprising. The battle itself, the tactics used, and the aftermath will be covered in the presentation. The Jacobite uprising. The Jacobite cause. The Jacobite cause was a political movement that sought to restore the exiled Stuart monarchy to the British throne. It was fueled by a mix of political, religious, and cultural factors. Bonnie Prince Charlie. Bonnie Prince Charlie was the leader of the Jacobite cause during the 18th century. He was a charismatic figure who inspired loyalty and devotion among his supporters. The role of clans of Scotland. The clans of Scotland played a critical role in the Jacobite uprising. They provided much of the manpower and resources that the Jacobites needed to fight their cause and challenge the British government. The Jacobite cause. The Stuart dynasty. The Stuart dynasty was a Scottish royal family that ruled England, Scotland, and Ireland from 1603 to 1714. They were known for their political and religious conflicts, which led to the Jacobite uprisings. The divine right of monarchs. The Jacobite cause was rooted in a belief in the divine right of monarchs, which held that kings and queens were chosen by God to rule over their subjects. Religious and political tensions. The Jacobite uprisings were fueled by religious and political tensions between Catholics and Protestants, as well as tensions between Scotland and England. Bonnie Prince Charlie, charismatic leader. Bonnie Prince Charlie was a charismatic leader known for his charm and appeal to the Scottish clans. He inspired loyalty and devotion among his followers. Military tactics. Bonnie Prince Charlie employed unconventional military tactics in the Jacobite uprising, including surprise attacks and swift movements. His tactics were often successful against the better equipped British forces. Clans of Scotland. Bonnie Prince Charlie had a close relationship with the clans of Scotland and was able to rally their support for the Jacobite cause. His interactions with the clans played a critical role in the success of the uprising. The build-up to the battle. The march south. The march south was a key strategic decision leading up to the Battle of Culloden. This involved the Jacobite army moving towards England in an attempt to gain support for their cause. The Siege of Carlisle. The Siege of Carlisle was a significant military engagement leading up to the Battle of Culloden. Jacobite army laid siege to the city of Carlisle, which was held by British forces. Decision to engage the British army. The decision to engage the British army on the field of battle was a pivotal moment in the build-up to the Battle of Culloden. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the Jacobite army chose to fight rather than retreat. The march south. Bonnie Prince Charlie. Bonnie Prince Charlie was the leader of the Jacobite uprising in Scotland and the driving force behind the march south. Challenges faced. The march south was rife with challenges, including lack of supplies, poor weather conditions, and constant attacks from the enemy. Battles fought. The march south was marked by several key battles, including the Battle of Prestopans and Battle of Falkirk. The Siege of Carlisle. Key moments in the Jacobite uprising. The Siege of Carlisle was a critical moment in the Jacobite uprising as it marked the first time the Jacobites had successfully captured a major English town, giving them a significant advantage in the conflict. Tactics used in the siege. The Jacobites used a combination of artillery, siege engines, and a blockade to capture Carlisle. The siege lasted for 2 weeks and ended with the surrender of the city. Outcome and impact. The capture of Carlisle was a significant victory for the Jacobites, but it was short-lived. The city was recaptured by the English forces a few months later, and the Jacobite cause suffered a setback. The Battle of Culloden. Tactics used by both sides. Both sides used different tactics during the battle. The British army adopted a lineal tactic, while the Jacobite army employed a charge tactic. This led to a devastating defeat for the Jacobites. Key moments of the battle. The Battle of Culloden was fought on April 16, 1746, and lasted for less than an hour. The key moments of the battle included the initial Jacobite charge, the British firing line, and the Jacobite retreat. Factors contributing to the outcome. The outcome of the battle was influenced by several factors, including the strength of the British army, the superior weaponry of the British army, and the lack of support from the French army for the Jacobites. The aftermath. Brutal repression. The aftermath of the Battle of Culloden was marked by a brutal campaign of repression against the Highland clans, including the banning of tartan and the Highland clearances. Impact on the Jacobite cause. The Battle of Culloden was a decisive victory for the British government against the Jacobite cause, and it marked the end of the Jacobite rebellions. Fate of Bonnie Prince Charlie. The aftermath of the Battle of Culloden saw the flight and eventual capture of Bonnie Prince Charlie, who went into hiding and later fled to France. The aftermath. Impact on the Jacobite cause. The Battle of Culloden was a decisive victory for the British government and dealt a severe blow to the Jacobite cause. It marked the end of the Jacobite rebellion and the beginning of a brutal campaign of repression against the Highland clans. Fate of Bonnie Prince Charlie. After the Battle of Culloden, Bonnie Prince Charlie was forced to flee to Scotland and went into hiding. He eventually escaped to France, but his hopes of restoring the Stuart dynasty were dashed. Legacy of the conflict. The Battle of Culloden had a profound impact on Scottish history and culture. It led to the destruction of the Highland way of life and the suppression of Scottish culture. However, it also gave rise to a romanticized image of the Highland clans and the struggle against the British government. Conclusion. The Battle of Culloden had a far-reaching impact on Scottish and British history, and its legacy was felt for decades to come. The loss of Highland way of life is remembered as a tragic and poignant event, a reminder of the high cost of political and military conflict. Thank you.